Hey punks, welcome back to the University of Radlands. We have our first camp preview that the designer Daniel posted on Board Game Geek and the Facebook group earlier today, and I'm here to talk about it with you. So I'll link that in the description. That way, if you haven't seen it yet, you can click the link and read his little blurb about it and see what he has to say about the card. Well, let's bring it out. So the first camp preview that he decided to show off is a card called Death Ray. It will give you one starting card in your hand, and for 2 water, you can destroy any card if you discard 5 cards, not including the water silo. So this is a pretty interesting first camp that Daniel picked. It's the only camp that I've actually seen the card art for because, and he mentions this in his blurb, that this was leftover assets or leftover art from the original campaign or the original game. So this was actually the art on the card as we were playing with it. And you can kind of see up here in the upper right corner, that looks to be the expansion symbol. So that way, whenever you mix your camps up and you decide you want to separate from the original game and the expansion, just look for that symbol and you'll be able to separate them. So kind of let's break this down. Let's go over it a little bit. So it's going to be similar to the abilities of Sniper or Mogler Staying. Because as you can see here, it's going to target any, which that means it can hit unprotected and protected cards. So it's very versatile. And any card meaning it can hit people and camps. So similar to Sniper, can hit everything, whereas Mogler Staying could only use his ability on camps. So your Death Ray, when you decide to aim it at something, can hit any person or any camp, and for 2 water, destroy them. Now, where the extra cost is going to come from is that 5 cards in your hand. Now, I know a lot of times in Radlands, you're playing people, you're junking cards. It's really hard to build up and maintain or keep 5 cards at a time. So when you pick this camp, it's definitely going to change your approach and how you play the game. Do you stay a little bit more aggressive like you would normally, and maybe hopefully at the end when you've have a little bit of a lead, maybe back off to try to build your cards and maybe do one kind of final blow on somebody's camp or a really important person? Or do you try to gather a bunch of cards at the very beginning and maybe try to destroy your opponent's most important camp at the very start of the game to slow them down? In my play testing of this, I would say you could probably get it off as long as your opponent didn't destroy it right away. Once a game was pretty attainable, you could probably shoot for 2. That was pushing it. I don't see you getting enough cards in the game over the length of a 30-ish minute game to get enough cards to discard 5 more than twice. But so you've picked this card. Let's talk about some maybe camps that combo well with it. As I mentioned before, I'm not going to spoil any of the camps until Daniel does. Daniel releases them. I can think of one camp off the top of my head that paired really well in the expansion. Whether Daniel shows that one off or not, we'll find out later on. If not, you'll find it when you purchase the game. But so some camps that maybe synergize with Death Ray right out of the original box. I picked a few here that are potentially being or will be replaced, but as I mentioned before, if you liked any of these and want to throw them in to your selection, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. So of course, the tried and true Obelisk, you get 3 cards to start. You would have a pretty good head start on that 5 card to start at the beginning of the game. You destroy that one. Cache and Warehouse are both camps that when you damage them, allow you to draw cards. So that's a way, especially if a way to restore these Both of these abilities are 0 water. You damage this card, cash, you get to just draw a card. So that's a way to build up your hand. And then warehouse, you can discard cards from your hand and then draw up to 1 more. So say you had 3 cards in your hand, you can damage warehouse and then build back up to 4 at that point, or discard 4 and then get to your 5. And that's 0 water. So that pairs pretty well with the 2 water cost for Death Ray. You could actually do that in 1 turn. So there's a couple of camps that can combo to help generate card draw for you. Now maybe you didn't draw any of these camps. What cards in the Punk deck could you get? Sorry. One more camp here. Just saw it sitting to the side. This is one that you don't have to replace. Mulcher. Destroy one of your people, then draw a card. Again, 0 water. So as your opponent is making your people on the board worthless, or maybe you have some punks on the board, for 0 water a turn, destroy that person and draw a card. So pretty easy way to filter or cycle your people to get cards into your hand. So that would also be another great combo for a camp for Death Ray. Now cards in the Punk deck have some people here that help generate some card draw over time. The first one is Looter. If he can hit a camp, he allows you to draw a card. When you play Wounded Soldier, now they come in damaged, but when you play them, you get to draw a card. And then the last person here is Rescue Team. You can return one of your people to your hands, even punks. So this is a way, again, maybe your opponent is injuring, or you've played a Wounded Soldier. You could bring your Wounded Soldier back, play your Wounded Soldier again to get another card, or keep the Wounded Soldier in your hand, and now that is another card in your hand. So again, maybe you're at 3 or 4. You could start pulling people back from the field with Rescue Team to fuel your Death Ray. Again, now that's kind of minute or minimal card draw over time. There's a couple of events that also help with that. Interrogate allows you to draw for 1 water. You look at 3 cards or 4 cards, discard 3, keep 1. So that's a way to get cards into your hand. And a bombardment, even though it's really slow at the 3 time, once that goes off, especially if you've already damaged some of your opponent's camps, this allows you to draw cards when this resolves. So maybe at the beginning of the game, you use Death Ray, you've already destroyed one of their camps, you're able to play in bombardment. Well, that's 1 additional card draw when this resolves right there. If you've destroyed a second camp by then you get 2 more cards. So that's a way to fill your hand back up. Another combo that I think would work really well is Truce, especially if you have a full board. Truce brings all your people back to your hand. These are now cards in your hand that you're then able to discard to destroy something. If you pair this with an Uprising first, your Uprising goes up and resolves. Uprising gives you 3 punks. So if you're already at 2 or 3 people, when Uprising resolves, gain 3 punks, play your Truce for 2, pick up all your people. Well, now you've got a handful of cards that you're able to use your Death Ray with. So pretty awesome first card that Daniel showed off for us. Maybe on kind of the extreme end of what the cards might do. I mean, if you were to... This essentially allows you to destroy a camp your first turn if you can get an extra water, or if you're the second player going first and you have your 3 waters and you had enough card draw that you had 5 cards to begin with, you can potentially destroy a camp your first turn of the game. So pretty powerful. I think that's why it's a little more on the expensive side in terms of being able, having to discard that many cards, just because you can start so aggressive with it. Well, punks, let me know what you think. Are you kind of excited for this? Are you ready to see more of these previews from Daniel? Did this format kind of work for you? Maybe talk about cards, combos, camps, and your Punk deck. to go with this card, let me know. I'm pretty excited. This was a fun one to play with. Like I mentioned before, it definitely changes how you kind of might play the game potentially, especially if you're wanting to use this maybe more than once in the game. So thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And as always, stay thirsty, punks.